ABC 7 News continues to lead the charge in looking at possible discrimination in the home appraisal process. Our exclusive reporting has led to discussions at the state and national level on how to address homeowners' concerns.
This afternoon, one family says there is no level of notoriety that protects families of color from being hit with an appraisal that they believe is too low.
That's money we now aren't able to pass on to our 19-month-old and to our unborn child, and not because the house wasn't worth that, but because we're Black.
That's former Stockton Mayor Michael Tubbs, a rising star in the Democratic Party.
He spoke exclusively with our race and culture reporter Julian Glover. And Julian, even a former mayor feels he's been discriminated against.
That is the exact point right there. Just goes to show that potential discrimination in the home appraisal process is an issue that people in all walks of life are dealing with. We've been reporting on this for months now. Homes valued for less, and the owners believe the color of their skin is a big factor in this. And in the Tubbs case, the appraisal the former mayor and his wife thought was too low. It was enough to delay the sale of their home.
You can be a victim of racism because it's not about how much you make. It's not about where you live. It's not about where you went to school. It's about your race.
Former Stockton Mayor Michael Tubbs and his wife Anna say they learned that lesson the hard way when putting their Stockton home on the market in February. They have since relocated to Los Angeles. I spoke exclusively to the couple via Zoom.
We're proud of the equity we made. Look, we're pretty good at this.
The Tubbs put the home on the market for $599,000, $1,000 less than a home on the same block sold for weeks earlier.
Within a week, we had 2 bids that were even higher than what we were asking for.
They accepted an offer on the home located in the sought-after University area of Stockton for $610,000. But when the buyer's lender ordered an appraisal, the home was appraised for $540,000. That's $70,000 less than the offer placed on the home and $87,000 less than Zillow's estimated value, listed at $627,000 in February.
Our time was wasted and so much stress was put on our shoulders, but it was the same for them. Their plans were completely thrown off.
Given the difference in the appraised value and the offer on the home, the prospective buyers were unable to close the deal after their lender backed out. The Tubbs planned on using the equity in that property for a down payment on a new Los Angeles home. They were left scrambling.
At first, I thought it was a joke. I was like, there's no way the appraiser literally looked at our house, looked at the neighborhood, and said the house was only worth $540,000.
I briefly spoke on the phone with the appraiser who conducted the report to ask them why a home that sold for $630,000 just a month earlier was not included on the report, but a home that sold for $523,000 a year ago was included on the report, as well as about other items that the Tubbs challenged in a rebuttal to the buyer's lender. Now, the appraiser tells me they never saw that rebuttal, and if the Tubbs have any questions about the appraisal report, they should file a formal complaint with the state of California. Now, when I asked that appraiser what they thought about the Tubbs allegations of discrimination, they told me they were, quote, shocked the Tubbs were playing the race card.
We need to equip our membership with the tools to recognize and interrupt these unconscious bias and ensure that they've got a deeper understanding of the root of racial inequities in this country.
Rodman Schley is the president of the Appraisal Institute, the largest association of real estate appraisers in the country.
What would you say as the president of the Appraisal Institute to a Black, Latino, family of color that feels as though they've been hit with a lowball appraisal?
Yeah, I would say that you've got solution. It's tough hearing some of these stories. It's really tough because, again, it just goes against every single thing that we stand for as an appraiser.
Schley says the Institute is working to create new anti-bias training models for the 13,000 U.S. appraisers he represents and creating scholarships along with pipeline programs to increase the number of BIPOC appraisers nationwide from the 5 to 6% range to double that amount in the next 5 years.
The truth is,
earlier this month, President Biden acknowledged systemic issues in the valuation of Black homes.
Finally addressed the cruel fact that a home owned to this day by a Black American family is usually appraised at a low rate for a similar home owned by a white family in a similar area.
Biden has tasked HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge with addressing disparities in home appraisals. In a recent memo outlining stepping up enforcement under fair housing laws and developing new standards, potential solutions that will take time. As for Michael and Anna, they were forced to put their home back on the market after the initial contract fell through.
We had to wait until yet another person wanted to put an offer in on the home that was at least high enough so that we could still buy our second house.
They settled for an offer of $577,000. The buyer's appraisal came in at offer price, which is often typical. The Tubbs found a buyer but lost out on tens of thousands of dollars.
$30,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's someone's yearly salary that we lost, not because we gambled it away, not because we spent it on drugs and alcohol. We lost because we were appraised at a lower value. That's consistent with the racist appraisals we see across this country.
Now, the Tubbs tell me they intend to file a formal complaint with the state and HUD. And as we continue to report on these stories, it is so important that you know your rights, which include asking for that detailed appraisal report and requesting a reconsideration of value if you get hit with an appraisal that's lower than expected. Also important here, you do not have a right to the buyer's appraisal when you're selling your home. So the Tubbs, in this case, they were lucky that the buyers were kind enough to share that appraisal with them. Julian Glover, ABC 7 News.